Now, I've got a question. Have you ever watched a show and just thought, wait, why are these two characters even together? That's the exact question we're really going to be tackling today, and let me tell you, it's a big one. Some relationships make a show stronger, while others, well, not so much. And when it comes to Barry Allen and Iris West in the CW Flash TV show, let's just say there is so much to unpack. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Comics, the channel that digs deep into the stories, relationships, and character arcs that make up the superhero landscape. And as someone who actively loves superhero relationships and just shipping characters in general, the entirety of the Flash TV show really just irked me when it came to the ships that they did. And I really just want to ask these tough questions. Today we're going to be tackling the controversial topic about the Arrowverse is, Barry Allen and Iris West and why they were even together in the series. But buckle up because we're about to explore the chemistry, the writing decisions, and why this relationship might not even been perfect fit for Barry and Iris, and there were so many better options. But with all that said, hope you guys enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and let's get into the video. So, in the CW's The Flash, Barry and Iris's relationship is built on a foundation of childhood friendship. Barry grows up in the West family household after the murder of his mother and the wrongful imprisonment of his father. From the get-go, Iris is portrayed as an emotional anchor to Barry. He's someone who helps him through the trauma in his early life, and while this setup adds emotional depth, it also creates a very significant issue. Their relationship often feels more familiar than romantic. That is a very big topic that almost any Flash fan from the show can usually discuss when it's coming to this relationship. The fact that they really felt more like siblings earlier on and have a very weird, more sibling-esque relationship than the romantic one that the show tries to shift the dynamic into, like via the love story that they have. But honestly, the transition usually feels more forced at times, leaving many fans questioning the authenticity of their chemistry. And speaking of chemistry, let's honestly address the elephant in the room, which is that specific chemistry. Grant Gustin's Barry Allen and Candice Patton's Iris are both very talented actors, and I really can't say that because specifically in the first couple seasons, Iris is actually a fairly decent character, but in all fairness, their on-screen chemistry often felt more lukewarm when it compared to other Arrowverse couples. Relationships like Oliver and Felicity, which I absolutely love, or Kara and Mon-El's relationship in Supergirl, which honestly had sparks that made the viewers actively root for them on both ends. And while I don't really enjoy or like Kara and Mon-El's relationship due to the fact of so many just wrongdoings on one specific side of that relationship, their chemistry between both of these specific relationships often just so much surpasses the likes of Barry and Iris that it really makes it seems so weird. Like, the relationship between Barry and Iris often felt like it was just happening because the script demanded it, not because the characters naturally gravitated towards each other like the other two relationships that I was talking to you about. Like, the lack of romantic chemistry is a very particularly evident in the scenes that were meant to be heartfelt and romantic. What should have felt like a poignant moment between some people that actively really shared a true emotion often came off as awkward or made the viewers that really fully invested into the love stories of other characters just not be able to get into this specific kind of story that the CW was trying to actively shove down our throats. And honestly, when we're just thinking about the relationship, the CW had so many different options besides Iris that they could have gone through, and I really say that due to the fact that CW has already had an example specifically with Oliver and Felicity of not going with the normal comic book relationship and kind of verging off to the character that has the best chemistry or is actually like just the best fit. And while many people don't really like or enjoy Oliver and Felicity's relationship, It worked, and we actually saw the chemistry introduced from the first time that we saw them. And with Barry specifically, and in the Flash show, they introduced several potential love interests who could have very easily brought different dynamics into the show. Most specifically, people like Patty Spivot, who was introduced in season 2, and Patty shares a very immediate spark with Barry, and their shared interest and lighthearted banter make their friendship and entire romantic relationship feel very organic and fun. Patty's departure from the show left many fans honestly really disappointed, and she was just really a refreshing change from the Iris-centric narrative. Like, I have literally said this so many different times, just talking about the fact of, oh yeah, Hattie was probably supposed to be, Barry's final it girl because of the fact that they had so much in common and their relationship actually felt like natural. It felt like an actual honest relationship. And there were so many others in the entirety of the normal Flash TV show that we could literally also discuss. Caitlin, Linda honestly had better chemistry. Some of just literally the people that Barry dated for a short little amount of time had better chemistry than someone that he was literally destined to marry. And kind of one other person that really was a wild card that I've already made a video talking about why I thought that they should have ended up together was Kara Danvers' Supergirl. And while this would have been more of like a crossover pipe dream, Barry and Kara's chemistry during their interactions almost always felt effortless. Their friendship showed a relationship that was built on mutual respect and shared experiences that actually still had very nice chemistry and actual funny and emotionally good moments. By sticking exclusively to the Iris and Barry is endgame kind of thing from comics, the show missed so many opportunities to diversify and potentially create compelling romantic dynamics that the show could have very easily used to very much heighten their entire show by miles. Another critical issue with the Barry-Iris relationship is how it impacts Iris's character development. Too often, Iris's role feels in this kind of series revolves just around her being Barry's love interest. It feels just way too unnatural for a show like this, and is mainly just used as a plot device to motivate Barry to do something in particular. And while the writers occasionally give her actually good arcs that showcase her strength and independence, these moments are very heavily overshadowed by the 3 worst lines in the entirety of the show's history and almost any show's history in general. The words that were uttered, "We are the Flash." These words honestly pissed me off so much, and that entire dynamic, which makes her feel like a secondary to Barry's journey, made the entire show kind of just drop downhill even faster than it was already going. Making Iris a character that, instead of her just being the normal journalist or having her have her own separate storyline, which would have very well worked, we have her enter the Team Flash scenario, make her basically like the technical, leader when Barry's not around, have her so much, just giving her so much more agency outside of her, inside of her relationship with Barry as just the Flash alone, to the point that she just kind of gains too much specific, full scenes in the show and kind of really screws up the character that we had already enjoyed earlier on, and just screws up her character much more as time goes along, specifically when we have and are given situations like her talking to Barry about the entire Nora situation when Barry actively sends her back in time, sends her back to her own time because of the fact that she was working with the one person Barry didn't trust. That entire kind of situation where they argue a lot really just doesn't have any chemistry in the first place, but it just kind of literally just starts showing you that she thinks, and she's been giving so much agency inside of the Team Flash situation, that she actively thinks that, in any kind of situation, even just not regarding the entire Nora relationship, because obviously that's a family issue, when we're just talking about normal Barry as the Flash issues, it gives her so much agency just to be like, I'm a part of Team Flash, I'm a part of this team, so I should have a very big say into what we do. I am Barry's love interest, I should have just as much as a say as he does, which honestly never made any sense in the first place. It gave like really just so many very big incantations, just like notions in my head that pissed me off, that I was really just trying to zone out of the show more and more. But I obviously still finished it because I had such just an attachment for nostalgia that I just finished the show either way. But in all fairness, had Iris been given more agency outside of her relationship with Barry, she could have very easily had grown into her own multi-dimensional character. For example, her role as a journalist, which I had already pointed out, brings a kind of Lewis Lane-esque perspective to the series, but it's really rarely explored in very meaningful ways. Yes, in the show that they actively used this in a couple different times where, yeah, her being a journalist is a kind of main point and main plot point, but never to an actual, like, important level. It's not like, oh, she has her own season-wide storyline about her just specifically being a journalist, or it's like, oh, yes, she has this new journalist thing where she's creating her own thing, but she's more focused on Team Flash. So we're not going to be seeing that unless it has very weird circumstances to actively be implemented into. And honestly, really just continuing off with the entire tangent that I'm already going on, there are so many other things wrong with this relationship, most specifically just the West family dynamic, because of the fact that the familial aspect of Barry and Iris's relationship very much has a big point of like just contention between everyone. This is one of the first things that I obviously talked about in this entire video. The fact that growing up as pseudo siblings creates a very unavoidable layer of awkwardness when the show pivots to romance for the fans. While the series addresses this dynamic briefly, it's not enough to fully shake the uncomfortable undertones that many viewers, including me, still felt even after that they had already gone together. And yes, while I understand they weren't together and they weren't like actively siblings, and it wasn't a situation where that Barry actually ever fully got adopted by them. But it just makes it a very big situation that Joe West, who literally acts as both Iris's father and Barry's surrogate dad, which we literally see that entire dynamic throughout the entire show, often just sidesteps the inherent awkwardness of Joe having to support a relationship between his daughter and his basically adopted son that he raised from like years, which literally feels like a missed opportunity that would have made for a lot more meaningful character exploration and a lot more like, better quality just show lore in this entire kind of show that had a lot of falling off points the longer that you started watching it from like season 4 and on. But that's really just kind of me ranting about that specific kind of tangent that I still never really enjoyed and I never will fully enjoy. But that's literally what the point of the video is, why they shouldn't have been together and why they shouldn't have lasted at least as long as they did. And even the old like, oh yeah, they lasted as long as they did due to the fact that their love was destined, and that entire trope does piss me off. Like, don't get me wrong, but the fact that their love is like a destined love just really kind of annoyed me even more, because one of the show's recurring themes is that Barry and Iris are destined to be together. This trope is reinforced through alternate timelines, future versions of the character, and even the Speed Force itself. And with the idea that destiny can be romantic, the Flash leans on it way too heavily, using it as a crutch to justify their entire relationship instead of just letting the feelings and everything else develop naturally. If we're literally just talking about pure examples of this, obviously we have the entire thing of even when Barry goes to the alternate dimension for the first time, he's actively with Iris in that universe. When we go forward in time, he's already with Iris, has kids and all of that kind of stuff when she actually is alive. But one of the main specific things that I honestly need to talk about is the kind of entire situation with Savitar in which Iris was supposed to die, because of the fact that this actively gave such a very interesting kind of situation to this story. Most specifically, if Iris had actively died. The situations and the storylines that could have very easily changed if that one specific thing could have happened would have been so interesting to see. because of the fact that we knew that Iris really could have died, and honestly, some people, including me, sometimes believe that she should have actively, like, just died at that specific time, leading to a point where Barry could, go through a time of mourning, but eventually find a better suited love interest, honestly. Would have been a fairly nice thing to see. Maybe bring Patty back or do the logical thing and put the relationship that people actually wanted into like full view. Obviously, by that point, one of the more favorite relationships, specifically being Barry and Felicity, was basically almost off the table, or at least getting close to being off the table by that point. But the most interesting relationship that Barry could have had, which should have been the relationship that he should have had, would have been with Caitlin Snow, the character that Barry literally first met as soon as he opened his eyes and became the new person that he was meant to be, the Flash. And the person that was literally with him the entire time of his journey, never left, and has always been basically like someone that was supporting him, someone that was always there for him, someone that had actively understood the loss of losing someone that they loved and never actively got the chance to gain their own relationship by the end of the story, and literally had a lot more things happen to her that just made her character feel a lot more sad, and just had a lot more missed opportunities and storylines for a specific character like this and a specific character relationship like those, because of the fact that we only had one specific kissing scene and it wasn't even actively Barry. And just honestly speaking of the missed opportunities and storylines, there are so many. Like, we're just talking about Barry and Iris as a general kind of topic. Like, by committing to the Barry and Iris kind of central romance, The Flash literally missed out on exploring so many other potential rich storylines. Just for example, Barry balancing his life for, love and heroism, and how Barry would navigate through his relationship with someone who isn't even a part of Team Flash, which I'm going to keep saying, Iris should have never been a part of Team Flash. Like, this could have provided a very fresh and, challenging kind of character growth for Barry to experience, and really just show the different sides of this relationship and actually let it grow and develop in a way that just didn't feel like it was being shoved down our throats. And another kind of missed opportunity was one thing that I already talked about a little bit. With just the entirety of Iris's career as a journalist. A storyline just focused on Iris uncovering secrets about metahumans or exposing corruption in Central City could have added to a depth to her character and the show that really just wasn't really available unless it specifically revolved around something like Barry needing specific help on something, or very minuscule kind of journalism that was happening for just kind of keeping Iris relevant in one specific way or another. And even though they literally just started taking Iris out for a couple episodes at a time afterwards anyways, it just really honestly made no sense for a good portion of these things. And if we're really just considering and talking about this, I'm not even the only one that feels like this. Barry and Iris's relationship has been a divisive topic between all of the fans since the show's inceptions. And while some viewers actually appreciate the show's commitment to their comic book roots, a lot of others feel that this on-screen expectation and execution really just falls so flat. The online forums, the fan polls, and the social media discussions really reveal a wide range of opinions, with many fans advocating for an alternate love interest or just wishing the relationship had been handled extremely differently. Because at its core, Barry and Iris's relationship in The Flash had potential, but it was just usually and ultimately hindered by its weak execution, lack of chemistry, and missed opportunities for character development. And while their love story is iconic in the comics, the TV show's adaptation struggled to translate that magic to the screen. That said, it's worth noting that the relationships in the superhero stories are usually always subjective. What resonates with one fan might not always work for another, so whether you're Team West Allen or not, the most important thing is the sense that these stories continue to spark discussions and passions among comic fans. So with that being said, thanks for watching this video, and if you did enjoy this specific dive into the Arrowverse, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. If you guys have any other Arrowverse related videos that you guys would like me to talk about, because I actually do enjoy talking about this. I love the Arrowverse and all of its shows. I have watched them all. So let me know down in the comments what you obviously want, what you think about this specific video and what you think about Iris and Barry's relationship, but also any specific Arrowverse kind of videos that you guys would like me to talk about. And also put down who you think Barry should have ended up with. But until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and keep celebrating the heroes we love. Let's talk comics again soon. Peace.